All right, here looking at the barn today, and just wanted to walk through what we're looking at. So we'll be looking at all of the trim work, so the fascia, gutters, downspouts, all of that to be painted white. And then all of the red siding that's currently red would be painted potentially a medium or lighter gray, depending on what the owner prefers. But this is the one side of the building. You've got this large overhead door that we would also be painting. No windows, those would be left alone, but all of the rest of it would be done. The door here, and the siding, which you can see is kind of faded. So we talked about different options as far as what kind of paint we would use. You can see again where it's kind of faded and that kind of thing. Got a little bit of paint that is coming removed on this drip edge over here, this flashing. So we'll probably have to run along this bottom edge with a DTM metal primer. That's just a direct to metal primer that will help to bond the new paint and make sure it doesn't come off. Again, you can kind of see some of that here. This isn't as much of a concern as this kind of horizontal drip edge or flashing. So we'll want to make sure we prime those locations to make sure that all of those areas aren't going to have kind of some of the deterioration that it's got. Areas like this we'd paint over the pipes, but you can see obviously the hook that's holding it there is rusted, so we want to make sure we use a rust primer on those. Also, you can see it here on the gutters, some rusting there, so we'll have to make sure we use a rust inhibitive primer there. So this is what I would call the front of the building, and then one of the sides, and we'll walk around, take a look. Obviously you've got some hornet's nests here that will need to power wash off that are up in the corners of the garage. Some siding that's up above there, and then you've got a little bit of damage here. The big thing with that is, again, we want to make sure we prime that, because now that it's exposed metal, we want to make sure that moisture, that water doesn't cause that to rust out. Got another sliding door here, and again the siding trim, all of that to be painted. And then the back side, which is pretty similar to the front side, and I'll just take a look at that. So that's the back side. And then we'd also be looking at the roof. So the roof would go white to match the trim color. And I'll try to step back and get a little better angle on it. But the barn appears to be about 100 feet by 50 feet. So I can give you kind of the square footage of the excuse me, of the roof there. The only thing would be, and it's kind of hard to tell from here, but obviously you've got some wear on the roof in places like that. So we're gonna have to use that DTM bonding primer to make sure that the new paint that we put on top is gonna stick. So you've got some down here at the bottom, and you can see some here as well. And then you've got some more on the top, and I don't know that I'll be able to get a good image of that, but just wanted to make sure you saw that. You know, I'm sure you know about it, but just wanted to highlight that. So that's pretty much the scope of the work. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, but I'll have this quote over to you today.